Hello everyone, my name is Poon Fei from Johor Bahru. I'm currently majoring in Master of Education in Wawasan Open University. Today I'm here presenting the statistical research on the correlation study of a university college in south area of Johor. This study is focused on the identified factors influencing perceived e-learner satisfaction among the undergraduate students of this higher educational institution in the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's get started with the introduction. The use of information and communication has been known as the important educational technology in facilitating e-learning, especially the enhancement of cognitive skills of both educators and learners. Previously, the process of implementing blended learning by using e-learning tools as the support for traditional classroom was to facilitate teaching and learning. This has established the journey from conventional to technology-oriented, whereby most international universities have been deploying e-learning as the major tool in the learning process in the world. The e-learning has also transformed the educational industry to enable students in sharing information easily. Hence, it has played a significant role in terms of its contribution and benefits to e-learners. Specifically, the COVID-19 pandemic period has turned e-learning into the new norm of learning mode. Meanwhile, the awareness about the perception of the development as the future trend of education based on Industry Revolution 4.0 must be very firm for every educator in the world. This study has been completed based on 6 dimensions from previous research. A survey has been conducted to examine possible results based on the targeted factors towards perceived e-learner satisfaction. Previous studies shows that the perception of e-learning adoption in the universities was mostly focused on the students' acceptance of e-learning as a learning tool or application. Although the e-learning has gained acceptance in universities around the world, the study regarding the wide intention to adopt e-learning is yet to be unexplored, mostly in Malaysia. The recent researchers also concluded that the research about undergraduate students with a low level of self-directed learning and motivation for learning through e-learning at home during COVID-19 pandemic. Moreover, the study based on impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic towards the higher students' life in global perspective revealed that students are lacking perceptions of computer skills to complete higher demanded workload in the new learning environment. Students have more concern about studying issues, feeling frustration, and poor satisfaction with academic work and life. Under these circumstances, the comprehensive factors have seriously affected e-learners' learning experiences and learning expectations, from external to internal perceptions. Eventually, the dissatisfying learning outcome is found to be the significant problem in this study. To determine the factors for increasing the level of e-learner satisfaction, it will be useful for researchers, educators, and students to understand the significant level-based critical preset factors affecting e-learner satisfaction. According to the major referred journal by Sun and etc., the researchers addressed that there are 6 dimensions consist of 13 factors influencing learner satisfaction. In particular, this study will attempt to determine the relationships between each factor affecting students through online learning based on the 6 dimensions, including learner dimension, instructor dimension, course dimension, technology dimension, design dimension, and environmental dimension. The purpose of this quantitative study is to investigate the selected factors influencing student engagement with a focus on correlation study towards learner satisfaction through online learning mode. This research study has mainly focused on identifying the factors which may bring the influences towards e-learning. As it is important to investigate there is a significant relationship of the identified factors towards perceived e-learner satisfaction. Therefore, A correlation study in south area of Johor has been conducted to serve the above research objective. In this study, the quantitative research is applied to examine the relationship between the identified factors towards perceived e-learner satisfaction. The main reason is because it is the effective research approach involving data collection and data conversion into numerical data in terms of statistical calculation to conclude research objectives. Furthermore, the problem statement in quantitative research mentions that the variables and the population of interest in terms of asking questions about a relationship between two or more continuous variables. Since this study relates to 13 identified factors as independent variables and perceived e-learner satisfaction as the dependent variable, therefore, the researcher has adopted correlational research under the non-experimental design to examine relationships between identified independent variables and dependent variable. The researcher has adopted a web-based survey to share online questionnaires with the targeted respondents. Since the cross-sectional survey can always contribute a little time-consuming and inexpensive if compared to other surveys methods. To know the current actual status from responses of targeted students in a specific duration. Also, to assess the findings or outcome for the more in-depth research study, a cross-sectional survey design has been chosen in the current study. Besides, this study makes use of statistical package for social science or SPSS version 26 as the analytical tool or analysis of the raw data extracted from the questionnaires. The research population is focused on bachelor's degree students from the Faculty of Business Management, including 7 programs who are studying for the second year in this institution. According to Cranji and Morgan, the total sample is set to 123 based on the size of the sampling at 184 of this population for the finding. The population of each program has been calculated based on the stratified sampling formula for the total population and total sampling accordingly. The researcher has adopted purposive sampling to produce the sample result to be representative of the population logically in the current study. There were 53 male respondents and 93 female respondents involved in the data collection of current research respectively. Apparently, female respondents participant was extremely higher than male respondents in this study. The respondents from Bachelor in Accounting occupied the highest percentage at 24.7%, followed by Bachelor of Business Administration in Marketing at 24%, while Bachelor of Business Administration in Human Resource Management at 18.7%, and etc. The instrument applied for this study was about adapting questionnaires from previous researchers' measuring instruments with some appropriate amendment to suit the current context. The measurement of variables in the instrument in use is Likert type scale of level of agreement called as 1 for strongly disagree, 2 for disagree, 3 for likely disagree, 4 for likely agree, 5 for agree, and 6 for strongly agree. The purpose is to generate precisely described data to be measurable and analytical in the study. The following table shows each section constructed in this study questionnaire and its sources. A pilot study was conducted before the actual study. The contrast coefficient was used to calculate the internal consistency coefficients in the questionnaire to the pilot study with 44 students. Before the pilot study, the total number of items tested was 73. After the data analysis of the pilot study, few particular items have been removed to maintain the minimum acceptance of reliability level at 0.7. They are learner attitude toward computers, instructor response timeliness, instructor attitude toward the technology, e-learning course flexibility, e-learning course quality, internet quality, and diversity in assessment. The result of reliability analysis has shown that 38 items remain with reliability result at 0.859 in 6 dimensions had a satisfactory discriminating power. As a result, the final version of the questionnaire will be based on the above adjustment accordingly. This study was conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic by inviting 146 research respondents to participate in the online survey at a local private university college in Johor Bahru. In this study, the discussion is based on 6 variables, whereby 5 independent variables, including learner-computer anxiety, learner internet self-efficacy, technology quality, perceived usefulness, and perceived ease of use, were used to examine students' perceived e-learner satisfaction as dependent variable. The researcher adopted Pearson correlation to proceed the relevant measurement statistically on how to identify quantitative factors as independent variables from 5 constructs would influence perceived e-learner satisfaction. Otherwise, a poor relationship is determined accordingly. The results reveal that the learner-computer anxiety is negatively correlated with perceived e-learner satisfaction. The contribution of the Pearson correlations analysis with the most significant relationship, especially technology quality, perceived usefulness, and perceived ease of use, have reflected the research objective. The findings signify that the more students discover e-learning are qualified with technology, useful, and easy to use, the more likely about intention of continuance through e-learning. This has also concluded that the above identified factors as the key determinants to influence e-learners' continuous intention of e-learning in this educational institution during this pandemic. The result of data analysis was found to associate with technology acceptance model through e-learning for both local and public higher educational institutions in Malaysia. Besides, the result of the variable of learner-computer anxiety in this finding has also connected to previous studies, whereby the conclusion is about the significance of the effectiveness of e-learner satisfaction related to decreasing negative emotions through e-learning. In addition, the variable of learner internet self-efficacy in this finding has also positively associated with the confidence area with the ARCS model by color. Finally, the construct in this research with the perceived e-learner satisfaction has shown a very significant relationship based on the response of the respondents. The discovery of e-learning adoption has yet to reach the level of widespread interest in Malaysia, despite of the students' acceptance on the perceptions about learning uptake in other countries. The results have related to ARCS model based on a motivational theory by color, whereby the current study has revealed that the higher learner's computer anxiety, the lower perceived e-learner satisfaction. The lower learner's computer anxiety, the higher perceived e-learner satisfaction. The significance of the effects can be obtained when the e-learner satisfaction is related to decreasing negative emotions through e-learning and vice versa. Apart from that, the results also imply the driving force for both instructors and students in current trend of online education during pandemic. In other words, both parties will need to be embrace technology with adaptation in teaching and learning to achieve the better performance as well as the academic outcomes. It's been my pleasure to involve in such an interesting statistical research study. This research has been conducted to examine the factors influencing e-learner satisfaction during COVID-19 pandemic with the significance of correlation between identified factors and learning satisfaction through e-learning at this higher education institution in south of Johor. As a result, the research findings have addressed significant influence on e-learners' learning experiences in terms of learning persistence. The developed conceptual framework and the ARCS model theory can be used to further the e-learning industry development in the future. To put it in another way, the outcomes of this study show that improving online teaching and learning through the application of effective online pedagogical abilities from involved stakeholders. Finally, it is critical to support the e-learning industry continual development with a greater contribution to the education business. Now I have concluded my presentation. Thanks for listening and have a great day.